There are moments in life when desperation takes over, when pain clouds judgment, and the heart grasps at anything that promises relief. Childbirth is one of those moments, a sacred, intense journey that transforms a woman both physically and spiritually. In that moment of agony and hope, some people turn to traditional remedies, whispered through generations, sold in markets, praised in quiet villages. One such item, the so-called Maryam Flower, said to bloom miraculously, when soaked in water during labor, easing pain and speeding up delivery. Some even call it a divine sign linked to the revered figure of Maryam, peace be upon her. But let's pause. Strip away emotion. Strip away tradition. What does Islam actually say? Is this a sunnah? A miracle of the unseen? Or is it a dangerous myth leading us down the slippery slope of shirk, associating others with Allah? Welcome to Islamic Echoes, where we uncover the truth, decode the myths, and echo only what aligns with Quran, Sunnah, and authentic knowledge. Today, we're taking a deep dive into this widespread belief, and what you discover may challenge everything you've heard. The story begins with a flower, often referred to as Kaf-e-Maryam, Rose of Jericho, or Maryam Booti in various cultures. In many Muslim communities, especially in regions like Bangladesh, Pakistan, and parts of the Middle East, it is believed that soaking this flower in water during childbirth brings ease to the woman. They say, when the flower opens, the womb will open. When the flower blooms, the pain will lessen. These beliefs are often passed from mothers to daughters, from midwives to new mothers, carrying the weight of generations of trust. In the bustling markets near Mount Uhud in Medina, you may even find this flower sold as a medicinal or spiritual remedy. But the real question is not where it's sold or how widely it's believed. The real question is it from the deen of Allah? Even scholars, when asked about such cultural practices, sometimes have to investigate. This isn't something you'll find in a basic book of fiqh. And as we uncover the truth, we find that there are actually two types of things being confused here. First, what people call the Maryam flower, a dried botanical object that opens when submerged in water. Second, the Kaf-e-Maryam, or palm of Maryam, a herb believed by some physicians to have medicinal properties. But let's tackle the first, the opening flower that's sold for childbirth. The idea is that as soon as the flower opens in water, labor becomes easier. But let's be very clear. This belief is not rooted in Islam, science, or medicine. There is no authentic hadith, no Quranic verse, and no scholarly consensus supporting the idea that this flower has any effect on childbirth. In fact, to believe it does, independently of Allah's will, could lead a person into the dangerous territory of minor shirk. Minor shirk is not like openly worshipping idols. It is far more subtle, like putting your trust in something other than Allah for a result that only Allah can give. Yes, you may say, I believe Allah is the one who cures. But if in your heart you believe that this flower opens your womb, this water removes your pain, or this herb guarantees relief without clear evidence from the Quran or Sunnah, you are assigning divine power to a creation. That is not just a medical misunderstanding, it's a spiritual danger. And it is how the door to superstition, innovation, and even shirk gets opened in communities that were once grounded in Tawheed. Some argue, but it worked for me, or my grandmother swore by it. And that might be true, but is that proof? Not necessarily. The placebo effect is real. It's a psychological and physiological response the body can give simply because the person believes something will work. But placebos are not a green light in the deen. Just because something seems to work doesn't mean it's Islamic. In fact, using something unprescribed by Allah or His prophet messenger for healing, especially spiritual healing, could actually increase your spiritual problems even if the physical symptom seems to go away. So yes, maybe the woman's labor pain eased when the flower opened. But was that because of the flower? Or was it Allah's decree all along? And what if instead of a cure, she was slowly pulled toward reliance on a myth? Now here's where the nuance comes in. There is another plant also referred to as Kafi Maryam, which some physicians, and we emphasize some, say may have a mild effect on muscle relaxation or hormonal stimulation. This version of the herb is sometimes used in traditional Arab medicine and is boiled into tea. If a trusted, qualified physician says it may help, and it is not being used with a belief that it has divine power, then there's room for permissibility. But even then, the intention matters. If you're taking it like any other medicine, like Panadol or an herbal tea, fine. But if you think, this is blessed, this is divine, this is spiritual, then you are walking a tightrope. Islam offers powerful, authentic tools for women going through labor, tools far greater than flowers or folk medicine. Reciting the Quran, making dua, putting your full trust in Ar-Rahman. We have the dua of Prophet Yunus in the belly of the whale. We have the verses of Surah Maryam itself, recounting the exact moment of labor, the pain, the relief, and the reassurance sent by Allah. What better comfort could a woman in pain receive than the words of her Creator? What better remedy than the healing of His book? When Maryam was in the agony of childbirth, what did Allah send? A stream of water, a palm tree, words of reassurance. That's the example we follow. Not a dried flower sold in markets too often. Muslims confuse culture with religion. Just because something is done in Medina doesn't mean it's part of the Sunnah. Just because something is sold near Mount Uhud doesn't make it sacred. The Prophet Muhammad warned us that one of the greatest trials of this ummah would be innovation in religion, adding things that were never part of the message. This flower is one such innovation. It may look harmless, it may feel spiritual, but slowly, silently, it replaces Allah with objects. It replaces Tawheed with trust in myths. And before long, the ummah becomes chained by superstition instead of liberated by truth. The devil loves gray areas. He whispers, "What's the harm? It's just a flower. It's just tradition." But remember, major shirk begins with minor steps. It begins when we assign power to things that do, not possess it. When we believe in miracles not endorsed by the Quran or the Prophet Muhammad, when our faith becomes diluted by hearsay. Every act of worship, every belief must be tied directly to revelation. Islam is a complete deen. It doesn't need supplements from mysticism, folklore, or herbal rituals. The woman in labor doesn't need a flower to bloom. She needs her heart to bloom with remembrance. She needs her tongue wet with dua. She needs her trust firm in the one who created her, the one who sees her pain, and the one who brings life through pain. That is tawakkul, true reliance. When you give birth with Bismillah on your lips, and la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah in your heart, you are surrounded by angels. You are not alone. You are supported by the one who parted the sea for Musa, who cooled the fire for Ibrahim, and who brought Isa into the world. Through the same Maryam some now wrongly used to market flowers, it is our duty as Muslims to correct misunderstandings, to dispel myths, and to protect our deen from corruption. That's why Islamic Echoes exists, to echo the pure sound of truth. We must be brave enough to challenge what is culturally beloved but religiously baseless. If our mothers were misinformed, we educate them. If our friends repeat false beliefs, we guide them gently. And if our own hearts waver, we return to Allah and ask Him for clarity. Dear sisters and brothers, belief is not a game. It's the essence of your soul. So before you trust a flower, trust Allah. Before you soak herbs, soak your heart in dhikr. Before you believe what the market sells, believe what the Quran says. There's nothing wrong with seeking comfort during labor, but there's everything wrong with seeking it in a myth that leads you away from Tawheed. If you found this reminder powerful, help us spread the truth. There are thousands of Muslims who still believe in the false claims about Maryam's flower. You can change that. You can save someone from superstition. Share this video. Leave a comment below and tell us, have you or someone you know used this flower? What do you believe now? Subscribe to Islamic Echoes for more powerful, myth-busting, spiritually uplifting content rooted in authentic Islamic knowledge. Let's clean the dust of superstition off our hearts. Together, hit that bell icon. Echo the truth. And always remember, there are no flowers that ease pain. Only Allah who gives it meaning.